Hello, Mark. I'm Irma, and this is this week's article: World Cinema. Focus: what makes a good film? The plot, the actors, the special effects. Do you see many films that aren't made in Hollywood? If so, where are they from? No sex, no violence, just film. Despite its severe Islamic censorship and taboos, Iranian cinema attracts a world cult following, says Jeff Brown. Imagine yourself as a filmmaker in post-revolutionary Iran. Instead of shooting at Universal Studios, the venue for your creative labors is called the Studio of the Voice and the Portrait of the Islamic Revolution of Iran. Perhaps your cameras are out on location in the streets. Your film project has already jumped three censorship hurdles imposed by government agencies: synopsis approval, script approval, and cast and crew approval. Now all that is left is to make the film, get the government's final thumbs up, and be given an exhibition license. But you cannot relax for one moment. Your leading lady, should you have one, must not be a seductive beauty, nor must there be any physical contact between male and female, even if the characters are man and wife or brother and sister. No violence, naturally, nor can any character burst into song. To the West, it may seem almost inconceivable that great and entertaining films could emerge from such restrictions, all put in place at different times since Iran's Islamic Revolution. Yet each year a miracle happens. Iran's films are regularly invited to festivals, win prizes, including the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and have become a cult among cinema aficionados. To understand this remarkable phenomenon, we must backtrack to the heights of the Islamic Revolution in 1978 to 1979. 180 cinemas around the country were burnt down during the revolution, testament to the way films had come to be seen as part of the deposed Shah's Western leanings. Filmmakers set out into the new era timidly, afraid of treading on toes and risking punishment. Sticky areas such as religion were best avoided altogether. Women, too, were for a time thought too hard to handle, but children seemed safe and cheap too. Yet there was much more than expediency involved. Making films about youngsters' growing pains was an ideal way to do your bit for a society rebuilding itself around Muslim values. Visually, such films tend to be as decorous and simple as their characters, far removed from Hollywood's bedlam, and the West loves them for it. When Iranian films first broke through internationally in the late 60s, they seemed just one brand of exotica among many. Now they appear unique, films on a human scale. They refresh our jaded eyes. Not that all Iranian cinema is classy enough to reach the West's cinema festivals and art houses. They make their draws like everyone else, and a chasm sometimes exists between films aimed at local audiences and those obviously prepared to charm outsiders. The best have the potential to please both camps, such as The Apple about two teenage daughters kept virtual prisoners by their father, and paranoia can still rise up among government bodies. One part of the episode film, Tales of Kish, was withdrawn from a four film festival, Iran's International Showcase, because the 13-year-old heroine showed too much hair under her scarf. Despite hints at thawing attitudes, an Iranian film that supinely echoes Western ways is nowhere in sight. For all the chafing at individual restrictions, that must be a sign of artistic health. The Times. Comprehension 1. Where do Iranian filmmakers make their films? 2. How are Iranian leading ladies different from those in Hollywood? 3. Are Iranian films popular abroad? Justify your answer. 4. What are the advantages of using children in films? 5. Explain briefly in your own words how Iranian films are different. 6. How close are Iranian films to copying Western ones? Page 60. Marx Jr. Conversation Class Spring 2014. Discussion. What are the strengths of Iranian films compared to ones from Hollywood? 2. What kind of films is Hollywood good at making? 3. What kind of films are made in your own country? Are they successful? Why? Why not? 4. Do you prefer films produced in your country or in Hollywood? Why? 5. Do you think Hollywood has too much power? If so, how can that be changed? 6. How have films changed over the last 20 years? Why do you think that is? 7. Do you think the cinema will still exist in 100 years' time? How will it have changed? 8. Will other countries ever be able to match the power of Hollywood to make films? With Dumb Volcano and Twister, we need another movie about a natural disaster, and My First Marriage came to mind. Activities. A. Role play. Work in groups of 3 or 4. You are producers searching for a new blockbuster. Decide what kind of film you want to make. Romance, thriller, science fiction. Now decide how you will divide up your budget using the chart on the right. You have $100 million to spend, and you have various options. Three stars is the highest quality, but the highest price. You can't have everything, so prioritize. Think carefully what type of film you're making, and they should help decide your budget. Good luck. Star. $25 million, $50 million, $5 million. Supporting actors. $55 million, $35 million, $50 million. Director. $10 million, $5 million, $1 million. Locations, sets. $35 million, $22 million, $12 million. Costumes. $12 million, $8 million, $5 million. Script. $4 million, $2 million, $1 million. Music. $30 million, $8 million, $4 million. Special effects. $40 million, $17 million, $8 million. Compare your ideas with those of other groups. Which group do you think has the best chance of having a hit? B. Write a review of the last film you saw that wasn't a Hollywood production. Give brief details of the plot, the film's strengths and weaknesses, and your recommendation. Read the reviews done by other students, and if you can, go and see the films. Ammunition box. Keywords. Production. The process of making a film. To direct. To manage or control a film. Storyline. The events in the film. Performance. To act in a film or play. Score. The music, their that accompanies the film. Photography, the images of the film. Handy hints. Hollywood studios spend an average budget of $60 million on a film. However, they only make a profit a third of the time. A-list stars of the late 20th century, such as Arnold Schwarzenegger and John Travolta, can earn over $20 million per film. Indian cinema, known as Bollywood, is the world's largest producer of films with over 27,000 produced to date. Americans on average go to the movies 4.5 times a year, Canadians 2.8 times. Video receipts bring in 3 times the amount of film receipts. Networking. Find out about the film industry in your country. Compare styles of films made in different countries. Books. Easy Riders, Raging Bulls by Peter Biskind. Hollywood's Film and Video Guide 2000 by John Walker. The Complete Film Dictionary by Ira Königsberg. Films. Boogie Nights, 1997. Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Websites. afi.cinemedia.org/ Page 61. Mark's Junior Conversation Class Spring 2014. Thank you, Mark.